Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here with another extravagant few minutes here on 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube, brought to you by tickets.12ouncesports.com and, of course, JaviCopy.com. Check out Javi Copy. Get your latest and greatest in instant copy. Use the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. Hey, if you're a college sports fan, this weekend is probably one of the best weekends we've got, as we've got Final Four berths on the line for both hockey and men's basketball, and we have got some dynamite women's basketball action this Saturday. It is going to be a great, great weekend for college sports. You got to check it out. First, in the hockey side of it, we've got two great games coming up tonight, Cornell and Denver. Denver, of course, beating UMass in double overtime on Thursday afternoon to kick off the Frozen Four qualifying weekend. So they're going to take on Cornell, and then Minnesota and Boston University, one of the best teams in the country. Boston U and Minnesota, of course, a perennial power in college hockey. They're going to take on each other tonight. Minnesota with a 3-2 win over Omaha, and Boston U with a big win over RIT over the weekend. Then last night we had some overtime thrillers. Quinnipiac, the defending national champions, they took on Wisconsin, and they came back and won 3-2 in overtime. They're going to play on Sunday against probably the best team in all the land right now in college hockey on the men's side. That's Boston College, a 6-1 win over Michigan Tech. It was close after one period, but then they just wore them down, and so that's going to be a huge matchup on Sunday. But probably one of the biggest ones, especially for us here in Michigan. It's going to be the sixth time these two teams play. It's going to be Michigan and Michigan State. Michigan State and Michigan both with comeback wins. Michigan State was down 4-2 in the third period late, got a couple of goals, including one with under a minute to go after pulling their goalie for an extra attacker. They beat Western Michigan in overtime by the score of 5-4. They're going to take on Michigan, who came from behind. They were down 2-1 to begin the third period. They got 3 goals and hung on to beat North Dakota 4-3. So it's going to be Michigan and Michigan State. All of those games coming up starting tonight in the hockey tournament regional finals. They will decide who's going to be playing in the Frozen Four coming up in a couple of weekends. Next up, it's the men's side. The Elite Eight games start today, and we got some big ones there as well. Coming up today, it's going to be Illinois and UConn starting things off. Illinois with a big win over Iowa State the other night, and UConn with a huge win, 30-point win over San Diego State. UConn looking like the best team in all the land. Illinois is going to have tough shoes to fill. It's going to be a monumental task. UConn, an 8.5-point favorite. I'm taking the Huskies in that one. Clemson and Alabama. Alabama, the upstart. Kind of an upset win over North Carolina the other night. They're going to take on a Clemson team who upset Arizona themselves. So maybe a lot of people didn't have Alabama in their Final Four. I had them in one of my pools, but I wasn't real confident about it. But now here's the opportunity. Alabama, a 3.5-point favorite with their hot shooting. I'm going with the Crimson Tide in this one. On Sunday, Tennessee and Purdue. Purdue finding a way to finally get at least to the Elite Eight with Zach Edey and the rest of the team, Matt Painter squad, with a big win last night over Gonzaga. They're going to take on a Tennessee team who beat Creighton. Purdue is a 3.5-point favorite over Tennessee. I'm rolling with the Big Ten in this one. I'm going with the Boilermakers. And then NC State and Duke. Duke with a big upset win. Well, I don't know if it was a huge upset, but an upset win over the top seed in their region, that being Houston, in a kind of a sludge fest, 54-51. And it was NC State with probably the biggest upset, taking on Marquette, beating them 67-58. The Dukies are a 6.5-point favorite going into the game tomorrow. My heart says NC State, but my head says Duke. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. And finally, on the women's side, we got some monster matchups on the women's bracket coming up. The women's tournament today, as UCLA and LSU play each other. The winner of that game is going to take on Colorado and Iowa on Monday night in the regional final. A lot of people were upset that these two teams, Iowa and LSU, were placed in the same region. That's how it went, I guess. Those are going to be two great matchups. Don't look past UCLA and don't look past Colorado. If Caitlin Clark, if she can concentrate on the game instead of crying to the referees. I think they'll win and get to the regional final. LSU and UCLA, that's going to be a toss-up game. That's going to be a great game. How about Baylor and USC playing later on today as well? And Duke and UConn. Those are two marquee matchups against programs that have storied history, especially UConn and Duke. So, yeah, the women are not taking a back seat at all today. They are going to have some monster matchups as well. So we got some great games this weekend, some monster games today. If you're a fan of college sports, this is indeed your weekend to shine. Men's hockey, going to determine some of the Frozen Four participants today and the other two tomorrow. We've got Elite Eight games starting today. And, of course, the women who have some monster matchups. Sit back and enjoy. It's a great day of college sports. This has been an extravagant few minutes right here on 12-Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Extravaganza. Don't forget, we got two great shows coming up this week. Tuesday night, 7 o'clock on the ACHA Power Play. We wrap up our review of the 2024 season, the national championships, with a couple of great guests, Carter Clark from champion Adrian College's women's D1 team, and Ken Gaffney from the D3 men's champion Lawrence Tech Blue Devils. And then we, of course, have our Captain Lou Extravaganza, where we will talk about all of our Frozen Four participants and the men's and women's Final Four. That'll be Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, right here on 12-Ounce Sports. All right, everybody, this reminder, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Thanks for joining us for an extravagant few minutes right here on 12-Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube.